Hello there, you're now with me, Shalshamato, for TVS English News at 5. Let's get to the headlines. Around 250 staff members of the Sarawak Premier's Department and 30 individuals from the Asnaf Group received sacrificial meat today as part of the Hari Raya Aidil Adha celebration. Premier Dato' Pedigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Junopeng personally handed over the sacrificial meat during a ceremony held at Wisma Sabati. The event was jointly organised by the Sarawak Premier's Department, Yayasan Sarawak, Association of Wives of Ministers and Deputy Ministers of Sarawak, Sabati, and State Civil Servants and Welfare Council, Maksa.
A total of 9 cattle were sacrificed, generously donated by the organisers. Abang Johari, accompanied by his wife Puan Sri Dato' Amar Jumaani Tuanku Bujang, along with other distinguished guests, participated in dividing the sacrificial meat. The event was jointly organised by the Sarawak Premier's Department, Yayasan Sarawak, Association of Wives of Ministers and Deputy Ministers of Sarawak Sabati, and State Civil Servants and Welfare Council, Maksak. The event was attended by approximately 500 individuals, primarily aimed to benefit employees of government agencies. 2 local groups also performed during the event. Among the guests were State Legislative Assembly Speaker Tan Sri Dato' Amar Muhammad Asfia Awang Nasar and wife Puan Sri Datin Amar Fatimah, Deputy Premier Datuk Seri Dr. Sim Kui Hian and wife Datin Sri N. Ong, Utilities and Telecommunications Minister Datuk Julaihi Narawi, as well as State Secretary Datuk Amar Muhammad Abu Bakar Marzuki and his wife Datin Sri Baduyah Bujang. Also present were Deputy Utilities and Telecommunications Minister Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, Deputy Energy and Environmental Sustainability Minister Dr. Hazlan Abang Hibni, and Deputy Minister in the Premier's Department for Law, MA63, and State Federal Relations, Datuk Sharifah Hasidah Said Aman Ghazali.
And Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim said he is ready to cooperate with any authorities should there be any allegations of corruption. Over the course of 7 months since taking office, Anwar said he has never used his position as Prime Minister to benefit his family members.
At the same time, he reiterated that he does not to retaliate against any party who accuses him of being involved in corrupt practices. Rather, he calls upon the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate any individuals, be it among the cabinet of ministers, businessmen and others if they are involved in corruption.
On to the next highlight. Students undergoing internships are advised to set their goals straight in acquiring experiences rather than financial benefits. General Manager of Centre Technical Excellence, Centex Commercial, Shahrin Yusri said, despite facing the challenges of a rapidly changing era, students must not be swept away by their ultimate goal, which is to learn.
Mindset tu kena letak awal-awal bahawa saya nak pergi ke industri ni, saya nak belajar. Bukan nak dapat duit, bukan nak bekerja. Bekerja dapat duit. That's not the mentality you should put first.
Shahrin said this during a dialogue session on TVS titled The Intern's Dilemma, Earning Money or Experience, held on Thursday. Referring to his own experience, Shahrin shared how he had to work since he was in Form 2 to gain an understanding that the true nature of the working world that involves learning and not just accumulating savings to achieve his ambitions in pursuing higher education. Moreover, Shahrin acknowledged the changes brought about by the current era, recognizing that the needs and lifestyles of today's students differ from those of his time.
Dari segi pertembungan zaman, saya setuju. Zaman dulu kita punya zaman mungkin kita dulu tidak terdedah dengan dunia yang advance sekarang. Sekarang ni semua di handphone. Kita dengan handphone, dengan internetnya, dengan pelbagai masa kita lebih di handphone ataupun di online masa kita sekarang. Dulu sebelum masuk universiti pun zaman saya dulu Form 2 dah start kerja dah. So dah dapat gambaran bahawa inilah dunia pekerjaan, belajar, nak dapat duit tadi sebab nak belajar kat universiti, kumpul duit, dah bekerja dah.
the wide range of tasks assigned to students during their internship as a stepping stone to transform them into highly skilled individuals. General Manager of Centre Technical Excellence and Commercial, Shahrin Yusri, highlights the significance of students adapting to assigned tasks even if they diverge from their chosen fields of study.
Bagi saya benda yang positif, pelajar patut ambil. Whatever it is, dia mesti ambil je, move on dengan apa yang ada. So student ni, dia kena ambil ni sebagai benda yang positif. Saya kena belajar. That's why mindset is very important.
Furthermore, Shahrin advises educational institutions to prepare students that their internship tasks may not align solely with their specific field of study.
Mindset ni sebab student yang keluar, yang tempat yang bukan satu tempat je, banyak tempat saya jumpa pelajar industri ni, mereka punya mindset ialah saya kena belajar buat praktikal apa yang saya belajar. Kalau saya tak buat ni, that's not my job. I'm not going to do it.
Ikut buku.
Ikut buku. I'm not going to do it. Dan saya tak boleh buat. At last, dia tak diterima dalam industri, dia tak boleh buat, dia tak boleh multitasking. Betul.
Meanwhile, there were among students whom were met by TVS revealed the intern dilemma, with some agreeing that experience is crucial in their development, while some say allowance is important to cater for their expense. Here's what they have to say.
My opinion on that would be, to me, I think the experience is important as much as the allowance. Since I'm in the graphic design field, I do work overtime sometimes. When I did my internship, I did work overtimes at times. However, I did feel like the experience taught me to be a better graphic designer. But I was doing my internship in KL, so I did need an allowance to do so. So if I didn't have an allowance, I wouldn't be able to do the experience.
More a good option than allowance, because when I had my intern, I did not have a senior graphic designer to guide me for my experience of interning. But I do have allowance. But as for my part, I do think that experience is much more worth it than actually allowance, because once you intern, you are there for experience, and if you don't have any experience on how to do works in the industry, how are you going to proceed with your work, right? Because you don't have any experience since you're learning. And then if because once you enter the industry, you will have your own pay, but will you have the experience? And then since I'm interning, I'm learning everything by myself.
I think that for internship, they should have this experience before start to working, because during internship, it's normal for them to train themselves first before having the normal salary. So yeah, because during internship, it's really basic to train yourself with them through mental and physically, because you need to have the skills before you start the real working world. So that's why during internship you need to prepare.
Ada sesetengah pelajar yang datang dari jauh untuk bekerja di bahagian, contohlah dari Miri untuk bekerja di Kuching, jadi mereka memerlukan duit lah untuk perbelanjaan harian dan sebagainya. So pendapat saya ya, pelajar harus diberikan gaji semasa dia orang menjalani intern.
I mean, if I know that I'm getting paid enough or on my level or something like that, then I might have the motivation to do more, be more into doing my work, something like that.
And now on to our world affairs. An Algerian teenager shot by police in France during a traffic stop has triggered widespread violence across the country since it happened on Tuesday, June 27th. About 40,000 police officers have been deployed across France as protests have spread from as far as Lille in the north to Marseille in the south. Some noted that the clash have reached Belgium.
Vengeance for Nahel and Justice for Nahel were written across buildings and hand-carried placards. In the third night of violence, authorities stated more than 660 people were arrested, while new incidents broke out in Lyon, Pau, Toulouse. Public buildings, shops, vehicles and other were constantly destroyed and set to fire, including a bed and breakfast B&B hotels where residents were forced to evict from getting burned. The shooting of Nahel M was fed long-standing complaints of police violence and systemic racism inside law enforcement agencies from rights groups and within the low-income, racially mixed suburban areas around major cities in the country. Prior to the third night's unrest, Nahel's mother, Murnia, led a tribute march in memory of her son in the Paris suburb of Nanterre amid growing tensions between working-class neighborhoods and police in France.
En fait, c'est un petit garçon, il est super gentil, il n'est pas méchant, il n'est pas racaille. Qu'est-ce qu'il raconte les médias sur lui? C'est contre. Sa maman, elle l'a bien élevé. Sa grand-mère, on la connaît tous dans le quartier. Elle est gentille, elle est serviable, elle aide tout le monde. Le petit, il est parti pour rien. Voilà. C'est vrai, on ne dit pas le contraire pour l'État. On ne dit pas le contraire pour la procédure des forces de l'ordre. C'est vrai, il a conduit une voiture sans permis. Il a fait co-poursuite, mais il ne faut pas le tuer. C'est tout. Il ne faut pas tirer.
On Tuesday, June 29, Nahel was found driving illegally as the car he was driving was spotted in a bus lane. Two police officers caught up with the car during the rush hour. When Nahel tried to get away, one officer fired at close range through the driver's window, causing Nahel to die from a single shot through his left arm and chest, according to Nanterre Public Prosecutor Pascal Proch. The officer who shot Nahel has apologized to the family. He has been in charge with voluntary homicide and his lawyer says he is devastated.
And one of the world's most common artificial sweeteners is set to be declared a possible carcinogen next month by a leading global health body. This was according to two sources with knowledge of the process, pitting it against the food industry and regulators.
Aspartame, used in products from Coca-Cola diet sodas to Mars Extra chewing gum and some staple drinks, will be listed in July as possibly carcinogenic to humans for the first time by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, the World Health Organization, WHO, Cancer Research Arms, these sources said. The IARC ruling, finalized earlier this month after a meeting of the group's external experts, is intended to assess whether something is a potential hazard or not based on all the published evidence. It does not take into account how much of a product a person can safely consume. However, similar IARC rulings in the past for different substances have raised concerns among consumers about their use, led to lawsuits and pressured manufacturers to recreate recipes and swap to alternatives. Last month, the WHO published guidelines advising consumers not to use non-sugar sweeteners for weight control. The guidelines caused an outrage in the food industry, which argues that it can be helpful for consumers wanting to reduce the amount of sugar in their diet.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. That's all the time we have for TVS News at 5. I'm Shal Shamato. Have a good weekend.